Okay, so we have this setup, which I think is going to be pretty good and should allow us to uh, sort of not use our pencils as much as we might have had to do had we not done the templates. Uh, Definitely should make our life easier. Let's look at number 7. It says which one of the following statements cannot be true. So the right answer is impossible, and the wrong answers are going to be possible. Let's check. Ron washed the fork first. So Ron can't wash the fork first in the second template, but he could in the first template because we could go F here and then put the K here and then the S here. And as long as we did it that way, then that's a valid solution to the game. Notice we don't need to check what's going on over here or over here, and the reason is because each of the kinds of objects are kind of isolated in terms of their effect on the other objects. They don't really have any effect. I mean, they may under some circumstance, but generally they don't really affect. So if I know I can put the F here and the K here and the S here, well, whatever I do on this side is not really going to affect what I'm allowed to do over here. So, I know that there's a way I can put the W and the J down over here, and it's going to be completely unaffected by what I do with the FK and the S. So number 1 is all right because again F I could go F K S. All right, what about number 2? Ron washed the fork second. So on this one, let's actually write it in just so that we make sure we're clear. Ron washed the fork second. So there, again, we can't do it on the bottom template, so let's try it on the top one. Ron washed the fork second. If he washes the fork second, then he's going to have to do the S here, and he's going to have to do the K here. So that will actually work just fine, right? And again, we don't really need to look back here. As long as we know that we've resolved the utensils adequately in a way that is in line with the rules, then we're fine. And so this is a solution. So number 2 is not going to be the right, answer choice B is not going to be the right answer either. Let's take the KFS off of the diagram and look at answer choice C. Ron washed the mug first. We know that Ron can wash the mug first right here, right? And so that can't be the answer because that's possible. The answer choice D says Ron washed the plate second. Same thing. We can see that the bottom template allows for Ron to wash the plate second. And finally, so we hope E is the answer because all of the other ones have worked, so they are not right. So E should be right. Ron washed the plate third. So can Ron wash the plate third? Well, in the bottom template, Ron has to wash the plate second. And in the top template, Ron has to wash the plate seventh. So Ron can definitely never wash the plate third. And this brings us back to something that we didn't say out loud earlier, but we could have said out loud, which is that there were a couple deductions based on our templates that we could have made, and I've written them here, which is they are that M is either going to be first or sixth, and P is either going to be second or seventh. Now it's pretty obvious from our templates, so it's not a big deal that we didn't, write it down originally. But the larger point is that as you go through a game, you may notice some things that you could have noticed right up front, but that you didn't. And rather than beating yourself up or worrying about it, just make sure that you write that down so that if it comes up later on in the game, you're able to use that information and you have it someplace to remind yourself that it's actually true. So number 7 is E, because as we can see, the plate can only be second or seventh, so it definitely cannot be third. All right, so let's do number 8. Which one of the following statements can be true? So the previous one was cannot be true. This one is can be true. So it's going to be kind of the opposite. We're going to do it in kind of an opposite fashion, right? We're looking for the thing that's possible now, and the 4 wrong answers are going to be impossible. So let's see whether A is possible or impossible. Ron washed the knife second. So can Ron wash the knife second? Let's see. So I think it looks like it should be okay. We put the K there. All right, and because we can't put the S here, we would have to put the S here. And so that would leave the F to go here. All right, so is this a valid solution? FKS? Yes. And again, we're not really worried about how the W and J go. They could go either way. They're unaffected by what went on with the utensils. So FKS is a valid solution, which means that the answer is going to be A, right? We can make Ron wash the knife second. Now, on a real test, you would just kind of go from there because we're so sure of our answer here that we really don't need to check the other answer choices. But while you're preparing, especially early in your preparation, it can be useful and sort of informative to look at all the other answers. And I'm going to try to do that for all the questions because I don't know, what answer choice you might have chosen. And so I'll just go through all the answer choices and try to quickly explain why the wrong answers are wrong. But to be clear, we already know A is the right answer. So what about B? Ron washed the knife 7th. Well, if we look at the top template, they want us to put the knife here, but in this template, P is already there, so that's impossible. And then if we look at the second template, we notice that K has we've written down that K cannot be 7th. So K can't be 7th on the first template, and K can't be 7th here on the second template either, which means that it's not possible for the knife to be washed 7th. And then when we look at C, D, and E, they're all trying to put the mug in a place where the mug is not allowed to be. Remember, the mug is allowed to go 1st or 6th, okay? But if we look at these answers, they're trying to put it 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. None of those are 1st or 6th, so all of those are impossible, all right? So that's number 8. Let's look at number 9. Which one of the following cannot be an accurate list of the objects Ron washed 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively? So now they're going to give us a lineup for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and what they want us to do is to pick the one that is impossible. Okay, so 4 of these lineups are going to be possible, one of them is going to be impossible. That's our answer. So we just have to go through here. Fork, I'm looking at A, fork, spoon, and water glass. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively. So what they're suggesting we do is fork, spoon, and water glass. All right, is that possible? Well, if we put the fork here and the spoon here, then this is going to have to be K. And if we put the W here, then this is going to have to be J. So we take a step back, we look at it, and yeah, that's perfectly acceptable within the rules. So this is not the answer because it is possible. So let's take those guys off and go to answer choice B. Knife, fork, and juice. So they want us to put knife 2nd, fork 3rd, and juice 4th. So again, if we put the knife 2nd and the fork 3rd, we have to put the S down. But where we would have to put the S here under 1st, right? But that actually is impossible because of this. So this is our answer because they've arranged the utensils in a way that they're not allowed to be arranged. In particular, they are forcing us to put S first, and that is not allowed because of the rule which says that Ron washed the knife before the spoon. So if we put the spoon first, that would be violated. So this is our answer. B is the correct answer. But as usual, I'm going to go through the other answers really quickly. Knife, spoon, and juice. So we put knife, spoon, and juice, which would require us to put the F here and a W here. We look at that and it checks out. So that is not going to be our answer. We already know the answer is B. What about D, knife, spoon, water glass? So this is, actually I'm not going to write this one. It's the same exact thing, except they, instead of putting the juice glass 4th, they put the water glass 4th, which just means that the juice glass goes 5th. So just because, C right before it was so similar to D, we don't need to draw D. We know that's not going to be a problem, so it's not going to be the answer. And we look at E, it says plate, water glass, juice glass. So we'll go to plate, water glass, and juice glass. Plate, water glass, oh sorry, we should not have done that here, so I don't know what I was thinking. Plate, water glass, and juice glass. That will not work on this template up here where I was just putting it in, because obviously the utensils are going to be first there. So we're looking now at the second template. The plate is they want to be 2nd, which is already there in the second template, and then water, and then juice. So that's perfectly fine. We still have to arrange the utensils in a way that works, but we know we can do that. So this one also is a possible solution, and that's why it's not the answer. We're looking for the one that's impossible. So as we said earlier, B is the right answer here. Okay, I'm going to end this video, and then in the next video, I'm going to do numbers 10, 11, and 12, which might be a little bit harder. Hopefully 7, 8, and 9 make sense to you now, and you can see how they're not that difficult, especially given these templates. All right, we'll see you in the next video.